To Mobility Matters, the biweekly live stream show covering transportation topics of interest, presented by the CITT, that's the Citizens Independent Transportation Trust, the organization overseeing the use of the half-penny sales surtax in Miami-Dade County. Thank you for joining us as we stream directly from the studios of the Community News Network onto the social media platforms of Miami's community newspapers. I'm Cheryl Meisel, CITT Ambassador Program Coordinator, and today for Javier Betancourt. He's your regular host and our CITT Executive Director, and I'm keeping you informed about the volunteer CITT Ambassador Program. Now, those are volunteers who ride transit like secret shoppers and use the CITT Ambassador Mobility Rewards app to give feedback about their experiences in exchange for rewards, all to help us improve transit services here at Miami-Dade County. And by the way, if you're a frequent transit rider, then stay close, because later in the show, we will talk about how you can start earning those rewards, such as Uber and Lyft credits. I know that sounds good to folks who are looking for those rides this summer. But right now, I'd like to briefly introduce you to our featured guest for today's episode of Mobility Matters. She's an incoming senior at Florida State University in Tallahassee, majoring in marketing and psychology. Throughout her academic journey, she's gained experience through internships in Miami-Dade County, where she's had the opportunity to learn about the professional world and apply the lessons she's learned in the classroom to the real world. She joined our staff for this current internship session, and she has done an outstanding job in her role as a marketing and communications intern on our community engagement team. We welcome to Mobility Matters, Lauren Cuellar.
Thank you, Cheryl. I'm so excited to be here today and talk about my experience here. I started here in the summer, in the beginning in May, and I've been here all summer. I've got to learn a lot of new things.
Excellent.
Yes.
Well, we want to hear all about those things, but just before we get started on our conversation, I'd like to reach out to our viewing community and just ask you to visit our website to learn more about the CITT and how to apply to become a CITT Trust member or a CITT Ambassador. That's miamidade.gov/CITT. Now, you'll see a crawler at the bottom of your screen during the show. You can also use that to connect with us. And as I mentioned earlier, if you're someone who or someone you know that is a frequent transit rider who likes to give feedback and receive rewards, then just take a picture of our QR code when it appears on the screen, and it will take you directly to the homepage, and there you'll find links so that you can apply to become a CITT Ambassador or a CITT Trust member. Lauren, thank you so much, for being here this morning and for all you've contributed to the CITT in your role as CITT Marketing and Communications Intern. I, for one, certainly appreciated all the help you gave to me on the program. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, dear. But tell our audience a little bit more about yourself.
Sure. So this is not my first time working in the county. I've been working in the county few times. Last summer, I worked in small business development as an intern, which I loved. It was very fun there. Got to learn a lot of new things that I would have never thought I would.
Like what?
It's just the small business development program, how they recruit businesses, all that the county offers them, because they really do try and help small businesses grow. And because the point of the program is so that the small businesses eventually graduate out of the program because they're too big to be in it. So I thought that was really interesting.
So they're like in an internship too, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I also worked in parks.
Oh, that must have been fun.
It was fun.
It was during the summer too?
It was during the summer.
It was hot then.
Yes. I worked at Deering Estate, which was really cool.
Oh, yeah, that's beautiful.
It's gorgeous there. So I worked with the kids there. It was very nice. I learned a lot myself. It was teaching the kids about the estate and all the different types of nature there, all the trees and wildlife. But I was also learning at the same time, which was so cool. It was definitely an experience.
With I think I remember something like 60 kids. Or...
Yes, I had to. It was like me and about.
Did you feel like a spider at times?
Yeah,
like with arms trying to catch them all, right?
Yes, and there were really big spiders there actually.
How old?
It was like 5 to 7. That was the age.
Oh God, that's such good training.
Yeah,
to teach your patience. Teaches lots of patience.
Sure, for sure. That was I learned patience is a virtue.
And tell us something else about you. Were those your? Oh no, I know what I wanted to ask you about, the cupcakes. Now, if I'd known you worked like making cupcakes, I would have put in my request much earlier before it was time for you to leave.
Yeah, that was my freshman year of college, where my second semester I decided I should get a job. So I was applying places, and then I really was wanting to work at like a bakery. Mm-hmm. So I applied to Small Cakes in Tallahassee, and I worked there for about 3 months. That was very interesting. I didn't actually make the cupcakes, but I made the frosting.
Okay.
So I had to frost all the cupcakes, which was very cool. And it's actually harder than you think.
Okay.
To like get the look right, if that makes sense, you know?
To make sure you have the right
icing
texture so that it does what you want it to do.
And when you like pipe it onto the cupcake.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you're making me hungry, Lauren.
I definitely had a cupcake every shift there. So
oh my goodness.
It's better that I don't work there anymore.
Well, it looks like you have plenty of room, so to keep eating cupcakes. I wish I could still eat cupcakes like that. So anything else you want to share with us in terms of your background, organizations, activities that you've been involved in?
Also at FSU, I work as an information assistant there, where I sit at the front desk of multiple buildings there, and I answer people's questions. I love helping people, so I love that job.
We noticed that.
Yes. And I love FSU. I know a lot of things about it, so I can answer everybody's questions. I love doing it. And my favorite part is when like new students come and parents come and they ask like, oh, what's this about? How do you like it here? And then I just like go on and on. I talk about how much I love FSU and how I didn't actually, it wasn't my first choice, but it ended up being the perfect choice for me. And
what was your first choice?
It was UF, actually.
Okay.
University of Florida. Yes.
Well, they missed out.
Yeah. So I love helping people there. Yes.
So do you have any favorite hobbies or skills, special skills?
In my free time, I love going to the beach. Love coming back to Miami, and then I get to go to the beach again.
Yeah.
And I also really enjoy going to the gym and like keeping a healthy lifestyle. I like to stay active and go on walks and things like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
So getting involved with transportation and having other means of getting outside. You ride bicycles? Do you ride a bicycle?
I haven't in a long time.
Okay.
And I really wanted to this summer, and I couldn't because I couldn't figure out how to inflate my tires, actually.
Oh, my goodness.
But I've been wanting to.
Okay.
I've been wanting to get back into that.
Yeah, that, being outside and being able to understand how to connect with the transportation that's available here in South Florida.
Yeah.
I think it's so cool when I see people get on the train with their bikes and the helmets, the scooters. I'm like, these are people who are really determined to get where they want to go.
It's true.
Absolutely. So what inspired you to pursue communications and marketing as a major
So it's actually funny because I didn't start with that. I started with my major as psychology, and I did about 1 year in college with that. And I loved all the classes that I took. Super interesting. I still love psychology, which is why it's still one of my majors. But after I took one of the classes called Careers in Psychology, I realized the careers were not for me. That was not what I was wanting to do with my life. I still loved the subject and all the topics that I learned, but that was not what I wanted to be doing for the rest of my life. So I was like, what is the next best thing for me? And I decided on marketing because I do love marketing. I took a marketing class in high school and I loved it. But when I picked my major at first, it was that I liked psychology more. That's how I decided that I like the subject matter more. But I decided marketing was good for me because I liked it, and I thought that it actually would help with psychology, and it would they would complement each other. Sometimes I tell people my double major, and they're like, that's an odd pairing. I'm like, you might think so, but they actually go together because you really need to know the psychology of a person to be able to market to them, and you need to know what they want so you can sell it to them, basically.
Wow. It's so interesting. I think we did have a conversation similar to this before, but we had similar paths. I was sociology as a major, and then realized after working in Howard's Hospital that I did not want to be a social worker, and then I changed my minor to radio. So I had the pairing of sociology and radio, which gave me the ideal credentials to be a public affairs director. So I did that for 20 some odd years.
Wow.
So, but you went to marketing with your psychology. I did have psychology as my minor, but I changed my minor from psychology to radio. And then I went into the area of public affairs, understanding the issues that affect, society, and applying that to talking about issues in public affairs. So that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, so, you graduate a year from now.
Yes.
And what's your dream, your dream job?
So right now, after college, I'm not sure if I'd like to go to grad school right away. I might hold off for a bit and get some more work experience. I've actually just started a new kind of side job. Yes.
Okay.
In social media. I'm working on a social media account for a plastic surgeon in Hollywood, Florida.
Good for you.
Yeah. So I'm working with one of my good friends, and she's helped me out with all the posts and things like that. We're brainstorming, working together, getting content. So I think that's gonna really help me get more experience in the social media world.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'll be working on. Hopefully I can build on that, get more
You will.
experience.
You will. And I realize we only have this is the last day, I think, that we'll have you.
It is my last day.
What good news to hear that, that you're going to leave us and be off to your next big adventure.
Yep.
That is awesome. Well, viewers, if you just started watching, this is Mobility Matters, presented by the CITT, the Citizens Independent Transportation Trust, streaming directly from Community News Network on the Miami's community newspapers' social media platforms. And you can follow the CITT on social media at GoCITT. That's on X. Or you can look for us as the Transportation Trust on other social media platforms. And you can also use the hashtag CITT Ambassador to keep up with what the ambassadors are doing. And remember to like us when you go to our pages, of course. I'm Cheryl Meisel, the host today. Javier Betancourt is usually here. He's our executive director. And I serve as the CITT Ambassador Program Coordinator. And my guest today is Lauren Cuellar. She is our Marketing and Communications intern at the CITT. And right now, I'd like to share with you some of the work that she's accomplished. We have a video here. She talked about her social media skills that she's revving up to go to. And now you'll understand why when you see this video that we're about to share with you about her transit experiences as a CITT ambassador.
Take the MetroRail with me as a CITT ambassador. I just finished my day of work and I'm going to take the MetroRail home to avoid having to sit through traffic. Here I am buying my transit pass and off I go to the platform to wait for the train. When I got there, the screen told me that the train was now arriving, so I was happy that I would not be having to wait too long. There it is. Next, I boarded the train and looked for a seat. Right away, I found one luckily, and this is my view of the train leaving the station. Next, I got my AirPods out to listen to music while I filled out the CITT Ambassador survey. First, I went to the app and clicked the survey option. There, it redirects you to the form where you can begin. Then it asks you some questions like your name, what time you boarded, and which station. You will also have to fill out some identification questions about the train, such as the train car number. Mine was 415. Then it will ask you some questions about the condition of the vehicle and how safe you feel. I like that it gives you the option to leave a comment if you would like. Lastly, it will ask you to rate your overall experience. And then you're done. I love being a CITT ambassador because I get to answer these surveys to give my feedback on my experience using public transportation. The best part is you can earn points that you can redeem for credits toward Uber or Lyft. I really encourage you all to become a CITT ambassador yourself.
And there we have your video. Bravo.
Yay, thank you.
Bravo. Yeah, I thought that was great.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate Alex, our producer here, working with us to get that inserted in today's show. And that was rather smooth. So tell us, how did you like your experience as a CITT ambassador?
Oh, I loved it. I love the CITT Ambassador program. I think it's genius. I think not enough people know about it. So that's why I made that video, so people can see it and realize, oh wait, I ride transit too. Mm-hmm. I want rewards to get Uber and Lyft credits because everybody uses Uber. I use Uber all the time.
Sure.
And it's expensive. It's actually one of the things I hate spending money on the most. So I'm like, oh, I have to spend money on a car ride right now. Like, I can drive. I just can't do it right now at this moment, you know?
Right.
So if you're doing something already every day that you normally do, and then this is just adding on to that, and you can get rewarded for taking the train, which you already do.
Yeah.
It's genius.
Absolutely.
So I think... And it's definitely helping because we use the feedback and we make it better. So I think it's great. And I wish I would have known about it more. And I want more people to know about it so more people can sign up and reap the benefits.
Reap the benefits and help us to improve the system.
For sure.
Absolutely.
It's a win-win.
A win-win.
Yeah.
So how did you like working in the transportation area?
I really liked it. There were a lot of things that I learned. It was kind of interesting to think about because I used to ride the train when I was little with my mom and my brother, and she would take us with her to work, basically, and we would ride the train. She had, she told me, a double stroller, which I was like, how did you do that? Because she was by herself, getting through all those doors, the elevator.
And they didn't have all those ramps they have now, you know? Yeah.
So, I mean, I remember it kind of vaguely, not super detailed, but I do remember I had to do that every single day. And I remember specifically like when the announcer would like say which station, and it was like I would never understand. I'd be like, Mom, are we there yet? So that's actually one thing I noticed from taking the train. Like now, it's
clearer.
It's clearer.
Okay.
The trains are nicer. They're cleaner. They're newer, obviously. So it's just like a cool comparison. It's like I used to take the train when I was little with my mom, which I had like fond memories. We would so now I get to do it like by myself, which is cool. And yeah, I think now that like working in transportation, I'm like realizing how like beneficial this is and how important it is for just the community. I guess I didn't like realize that before, and it actually like serves so many people, and it helps with like just like traffic. Like the traffic is crazy in Miami.
Yes, it is, and getting worse. Yeah,
exactly. So being able to have these other options is really good, and I think people should I think maybe there's people don't like the idea of public transportation.
Yeah, it's not New York where it's part of the lifestyle.
Yeah, so I think that would be really cool if we could like more integrate it into everyday life here in Miami. So definitely like making it better, and the CITT I think has a great purpose in doing that and expanding, because Miami is so big, which makes it really hard for like
spread out.
Yeah, it makes it hard for transportation to be everywhere and accessible to everyone. So it's definitely a work in progress, but I see the people that are passionate about it and making things better. Definitely all the trust members. Like I thought to me it was interesting. They're all volunteers. They don't get paid for like working on this trust. So I was like, wow, all these people really must care a lot about the transportation in Miami I sat in those meetings and they really do care. Like they were asking those questions, the tough questions, and they're like, but that's not how the CITT, the People's Transportation Plan, like saw it. So they are really advocating for what it was meant to be, and I think maybe people don't know that. So I thought that was really cool to see the behind the scenes. Like people like care, and we're trying to get things done. We're trying,
and it makes a difference.
It does.
Makes a huge difference. So yeah, they are very committed, and like you said, they don't get paid, and some of them ride their bikes and scooters, and you know. And they ride public transportation as well. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about some of the projects that you did while you were at the CITT, so that perhaps some other college students who may be looking to apply for an internship they might find something of interest that connects with them. And you mentioned, your major is marketing. So let's start there. What are some of the projects that connected directly with the skills that you learned in school in marketing?
So I did a lot of focus on the social media. I created content for Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, or X, and Facebook. And one of the campaigns that I worked on was Fact Friday, which is basically on Fridays we'll post a fun fact about the CITT or things relating to the CITT and see if people know it, and to educate, inform, because I feel like people don't really know perhaps about the CITT, what it even stands for, Citizens Independent Transportation Trust.
A mouthful, yeah.
So it's to inform followers, get people to know about what's going on, what we're doing, and to promote engagement, really, to it's a call to action so that they can answer the question, tell us if they got it right. And yeah, so that's one of the big things I've been working on. There are some other things like the reel that was shown. I worked on that.
That was, how many man hours was that?
It took a little bit to like figure out what was the right software to use, because I probably could have done it all on one app, but I ended up using 3 trying to figure out the best way to do it. Yeah. So it did take me a while to figure out, but I think that was like the whole process of just learning how to do it, and now I know. So like next time it'll be way faster.
Sure.
So
good for you.
Yeah.
Especially going to that new gig you have lined up.
Exactly. It definitely helped. That's going to be a big help for sure.
So let's talk about those KPIs. Now, that was the project that you helped me with a lot. And for our audience, that means, who may not be familiar, it's key performance indicators.
Yes.
So it tells us, how well our program is performing, and some of the key areas that give us feedback, like the total number of surveys. But I'll let you talk. You were right there with me.
So KPIs was definitely one of the things that I learned in school that was kind of just this big thing that I didn't really know about. It was just KPIs. What does that stand for? Key performance indicators. Okay, next. So I knew what it stood for, but not much more. What I learned is there are different KPIs for every business or company. There might be important, like for the social media, the important KPIs that we focused on were new followers, likes, and impressions. And there are a lot of analytics that you can get from social media. So pulling out the most important ones are kind of hard to decide which is the most significant and what people will understand, so that we can actually display what KPIs we have. And then for the CITT Ambassador Program, those KPIs are completely different. So it's interesting to see that in every scenario, there could be different KPIs that are more important than another, or just completely different to begin with. So learning how to really capture that and then displaying it on a graph. Graphs are hard.
Oh, yeah. Thank God for Monica, our deputy director.
Yes, thank you, Monica.
Yes, she enlightened all of us.
She helped us. I definitely had a lot of time looking at graphs and spending time on Excel. I learned a lot of new things on Excel, so that's really cool. And I learned it was like a lot of trial and error in the beginning. There was a lot of things to set up to begin with that, but I think now we're at a place where things can go more smoothly because we figured it all out. But it definitely took a little bit in the beginning.
Well, we were setting up the trend, so we had to go back and pull up older data, but now that we have it set up, now we're just adding in the new months.
Yep.
So that makes it a lot easier.
It does.
Thank you, Monica. So, I see also you learned about scheduling the posts ahead of time. You had never done that before?
Oh, yes.
Using Sprinkler. Yeah.
Yeah, Sprinkler is this...
like a dashboard.
Yes. It's a tool that we use, and this is like where we get all of our data and analytics for the social media. We can use it to get social media from all the platforms, and it gives you so much information. This is what I was talking about when it's hard to see what is the most important, because it just gives you so much. It's a little bit overwhelming to look at for the first time. You're like, where do I even start? So that is a cool tool that I've had some experience using this summer. So I use that for the KPIs, definitely, to get all that information. And to schedule posts ahead of time, you can use that tool to put in all your post details, and then you can pick whichever day you want to post. So I learned how to do that, and that's what I've been doing this past week, because since today is my last day, I've been scheduling a lot of posts ahead of time.
I saw that, and I know Carla appreciates that.
Yes. To help out my coworkers a little bit after I leave, so that they don't have to do it. I've been scheduling. I've done August and most of September.
See, that's why we gave you such an outstanding rating on your exit. You went above and beyond.
Thank you.
That's always appreciated. I know something else that you haven't mentioned. It was the work you did on the research on the podcast, on Mobility Matters, a show, trying to figure out how to get it set up and writing memorandums of understanding, drafting those kinds of things, and learning all about copyrights and how they play into that. And
yes, there's a lot of specifics that I didn't realize. There's just like so many legal things actually.
Yeah, you have to pay attention to.
Yes. I had drafted a memo of understanding, which that was my first time. I had not done that.
Sure.
And then seeing that like go into production, and like mine was just a first draft that was not used. And then I realized, they had to bring in like a lawyer to look it over, and that whole thing. And it was like a group of like 5 people going over this one document.
I know.
It's like, wow.
That's what it takes sometimes.
Yeah. So I thought that was really interesting. I was like, wow, this is like taking a lot of work.
So talk a little bit about the podcast, like the process that you went through trying to find the right subscription service for us to use.
Yes.
And how, people might think all you just do is upload it and that's it. But
yes, there's a lot that goes into setting up a podcast. Right now, this podcast is on Facebook Live, but I was pitching to have it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and I thought it would be easy. It was not. Well, it just takes a little bit extra work. It's not too hard. I researched a lot, and I found that you have to put it on one main platform, and then from there you can post it to all the other podcast platforms like the Spotify and the Apple Podcasts. But there are many of those, and it's hard to find the one that you're looking for based on your goals of the podcast. Do you want to have editing tools? Do you want to have transcript? Do you want to have an option where it uploads to YouTube also? So it was interesting to see all the different options and prices of the subscriptions, because they really do offer a lot. And there's like some AI tools that help you like auto edit, which is cool.
Oh yeah. You have to be careful with those. You still have to go back, come back and listen. Yeah, you have to go back and listen.
But it definitely is helpful. So it's interesting to see like all different options that are available. So it's tough, like to pick the right one.
It is.
Yeah.
The more you know, the harder it gets, right? Like they say, more money, more problems,
Exactly.
more choices, more headaches, right?
True.
Well, so how do you rate your experience? We didn't ask you that. We rated you, but we didn't hear you rated your experience with us.
10 out of 10.
All right.
I loved it here. It was great. Everybody was awesome. Just the whole, you guys have like a really nice, genuine like community at the CITT, which I loved. I like really did feel very welcome. Like, and I don't think I've ever felt like that from just everybody there at any of the places that I've worked. So like that was just my favorite part. just the people. Everybody's so nice.
Aw.
Director Javier Betancourt, my favorite, love him. And
Yes.
Carla was the best. She worked with me a lot.
She is the best.
So,
she really is.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I just loved my time there, and everybody was so nice and helpful and encouraged questions. So that was really cool and encouraged me, recognized my work, which I appreciated. And yeah, it was a fun time.
You made it easy. You
Aww.
made it extremely easy. So, Lauren, why don't you take this time to share with our audience, how they can apply for the mayor's internship program that you were able to benefit from.
Sure.
Yeah, and there should be like a QR code that they'll be able to see on the screen that they can scan that will take them as our viewer directly to the page where they can sign up.
Yes.
So you go ahead and tell them what they need to know.
So for the fall term of internships, unfortunately, the window to apply has closed, and that would have run from September to December. But don't worry, there are more opportunities, and in the spring, the applications will open up again in January, and that term will run from February to April. And they have different cycles. It's spring, summer, and fall, so you can also apply in the summer. To apply, you have to have 60 college credits at the time of your application, and you have to be currently enrolled in the university throughout your whole internship. Applicants must send their official transcript and resume to the internship office, and you must send your application through Miami-Dade County Jobs. And for more information, you can visit Miami-Dade County Internships, which is the QR code that's up there.
Excellent. Excellent. Very good. So we will keep our fingers crossed and just hope and pray we get another intern that even comes close to you, Lauren.
That's so sweet.
So if you run into anybody out there, please send them our way, because we do enjoy working with young people and helping to groom them and teach them new skills. And we look forward to hearing from you and hearing great things, from you about your future. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I love to hear.
And like I said, we really loved having you here. You were a great addition to the team, and you will be sorely missed.
Aww.
Well, thank you for taking the time to come out and spend this morning with us. And we want to thank our listeners, our viewers, our listeners for joining us today. And hey, if you missed any part of the show, you will be able to watch it from the beginning. Just check back for the links to the full video. They'll be on any of our social media pages. And special thanks to our guest, Lauren Cuellar.
Thank you.
CITT Marketing and Communications Intern. Remember to visit the CITT website to learn more about becoming a CITT trust member or CITT Ambassador. And as I mentioned, you can see it on the screen right now. And I'm Cheryl Meisel, your host and the CITT Ambassador Program Coordinator. Please join us again in about 2 weeks from now. Javier Betancourt will return as your host of Mobility Matters. Until then, just keep it moving.